How dark are eighth house relationships in astrology when you have eighth house synastry with someone? How intense is it? We're going to talk about all that today. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and tips on how to manage these connections. So stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Mina, your favorite Pisces astrologer, and today I'm going to talk about eighth house synastry in astrology. Romantically, platonically, it's intense no matter what, and that's why I want to talk about it, because it's very hard to understand, and it's also really hard to get rid of these relationships once they've crashed into your life. Before we get into it, smash that like button, help my dream come true. Thank you so much in advance. Now let's talk about the eighth house. The eighth house is the darkest corner of our psyche that we're very aware of. We're very conscious of this dark part of us, and it's a watery house, so we're emotional about it. And we want to keep this part hidden. This is a part of ourselves that we don't give everyone access to because it's just too intimate, and we get really protective about our eighth house because within our eighth house lies our secrets, our pain, our traumas, and just things that we don't want anyone to know about. So when eighth house synastry comes into our lives, it feels like a scary knock on a door that we're not supposed to open. Because in our heads, it's innately dangerous to open this door. And these relationships are high risk because you're letting someone into the most intimate part of you. The planet person depositing planets into your eighth house can symbolize a big, beautiful temptation. Almost like the apple that Eve gave Adam in the Bible. You want to take a bite so bad, but it's almost like you feel as if you would sell a part of your soul in doing so. Again, it's like your spidey senses are going off and something feels off, at first at least, about these relationships, even if they end up good. And of course, the eighth house is associated with sex, oftentimes in astrology, which can lead to these relationships having a lot of sexual chemistry and intensity built in within them. And it's scary for that reason, yet oh so intriguing, because when you let someone into a house that's not really meant to be occupied by many people, there's a unique intimacy that forms from there. It's a kind of forbidden connection innately because you're not supposed to have people in here. Mina here. I wanted to mention also with eighth house synastry, the true nature of the connection is hidden a lot of the time. There's a lot of secrecy around this synastry. It's like, I want to drink your soul vibes with the eighth house. And when I say you're not supposed to have people in there, I literally do not mean you shouldn't have eighth house relationships. Of course, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's a part of our brains, I think, with eighth house synastry that's just like, this should not be happening. Yet it happens a lot. And these connections, I really call it going to the casino, because you can win oh so big. You can really get the connection of a lifetime, hit that jackpot, or you can lose even worse, which is why I really feel compelled to make this video in the first place, to really help people navigate these very complicated connections with other people. I want to put a really powerful image in your head. Imagine you're at a store and you have to choose to buy one of these roses. You cannot choose both. This one's healthy, it's vibrant, it's fresh, it's stable. This one is past her prime. She's dried and preserved. There's a sadness innately in that. Eighth house synastry is like someone coming to your store and saying, I want this one. Give me this rose. Excuse me, don't you want this one? No, I want this one. Eighth house connections, that planet person that's depositing that planet in your eighth house, of course, depending on the planet, but in general, they're saying this part of you that's broken and traumatized and maybe bad is beautiful. Your darkness is beautiful. Your pain is beautiful. Your suffering is beautiful. And that, my friends, is intoxicating. These can be very addictive relationships because you get a validation in a very obscure part of you. Again, it's like VIP access. You don't let many people into your eighth house. So when it happens, it does feel exclusive. Whether it's platonic or romantic, it doesn't even matter to some degree because the eighth house is intense no matter what because of the exclusivity built into it. It's a really amazing astrology book. I like how Robert says the eighth house relates to your indebtedness, such as mortgage, insurance, investments, retirement programs, and other such matters. It is life or death, sacrifice or indulgence, wealth or poverty, courage or cowardice, give or take. No house confirms issues more positively or negatively than the eighth house. I love how this book puts it because you can't describe the eighth house better. It feels like life or death. It feels like when it's good, you can't live without this person. When it's bad, you feel like you're dying emotionally. It really does show where you can be in debt to someone. And I'm going to go into that a little bit later. So let's start with the good and positive parts about an eighth house connection because I really do believe you can win big here, especially if you have a lot of water in your chart or watery needs, like a need for emotional intimacy. You're at the right place because eighth house synastry with another person is extreme emotional intimacy, unmatched by any other house, period. Fourth and 12th house have nothing on the eighth house in terms of emotional intimacy. And it's very strong and sometimes can be quick, especially maybe if Mars or the Sun is involved with the eighth house because it brings a warmth and acceleration to the eighth house person. And I already went over this a little bit. They love the broken part of you. They are okay if you're sad. They offer a safe space, seemingly at first, to share your traumas, your deepest insecurities, the things that you're ashamed about, your secrets. They present as a very accepting space for these things inside of you. It's giving me kintsugi vibes, you know? They're filling up the broken parts with gold. And that's how it would feel because when these relationships are good, that person coming into your eighth house is going to transform you. They're going to help you grow strong where you feel so weak, and they're going to turn that into gold. They want you to be stronger from your suffering and pain. They want to be a part of your positive growth journey, even if it means that they have to push you in the deepest part of you. They will protect that broken part of you. When eighth house synastry is good, they will be so protective and loving over this really sensitive part of you. And they will keep your secrets no matter what. And of course, the eighth house does have a sexual component. So with all of this emotional intimacy brewing, this person loving a very repressed part of you brings a lot of sexual chemistry attraction that's very unique and hard to quit. I want to say it's not so much the act of sex, but the emotions behind it, the intensity. That's what an eighth house connection will bring. And oddly enough, even if you're just friends, it seems like these relationships get complicated as if you were romantic. Let me know if you resonate with that in the comments below. So with all of this beauty, this glimmering dark beauty of the 8th house synastry relationship, that brings a natural indebtedness to each other. Like, this person was here and loved me in a really dark place, so I want to love them back. It's not sinister, it's not calculated. It can be very natural and very loving, and it does inspire a very strong, innate loyalty in you as the 8th house person. Now let's talk about the bad, the negative stuff. So remember, the good stuff is they love this broken, wounded part of you. When it's bad, they will make you even more hurt and wounded than when you first met them, with psychological attacks on you. They will use your weaknesses to hurt you even more. And it's because they don't want you to get better. They want you to stay broken. And I do think even when 8th house synastry is good, there is a little bit of a fear that, oh, if this person gets healthier, will they still want me? Will they leave me? And that's okay if that's just a thought. But when that paranoia incites action, that's when it's bad. And action through psychological attacks, lashing out, using that very private information to hurt you, stab you in the heart. There can be major betrayals of trust in 8th house synastry sometimes, and it's really devastating. And when it's bad, they give you this dark acceptance, this beauty, because they want to own you, not because they want to love you. And this is a really hard part to accept of 8th house synastry when it goes bad, that it wasn't genuine. It was a chess move instead. When it's bad, they just want you to stay forever broken. There's no protection. There's no real acceptance. There's just possessiveness in its darkest form. And here's some tips on how to manage these connections. And the tips involve really testing the temperature, testing the quality of these connections. And the first tip is probably the most important. Remember that 8th house mind games only work if you don't know your self-worth. And self-worth is really second house. How strong is your second house? How strong is your self-worth, period? If you know you have high value, you're not going to let someone play 8th house mind games on you at all. Is your healthy growth being supported? When you're trying to crawl out of a dark place, is that person in your 8th house encouraging? Or are they trying to steer you away from that? That's an important question to ask. And most importantly, I hate to say, is the sex and extreme emotional intimacy worth it? Don't let that part blind you to the possible big bad things that these connections can bring. A big question that's often asked is, who has the power in 8th house connections? Is it the house person or the planet person? And of course, this is complicated, but I would say in general, if the house person has no planets in the 8th house, I do think the person who brings a planet into there, especially if it's a personal planet, has a slight competitive edge. Yet the only caveat to this, I think, is if the 8th house, the empty 8th house person, if that ruler is very strongly aspected in the chart, that can be balanced out a little bit. And I think it's really important, the last thing I will say about 8th house synastry, it's important to check that the power is balanced between you both, because then it can be controlling and possessive and really bad. I don't want to end off on a bad note, so I want to deliver an 8th house message of hope. A lot of times these relationships, even when they have like nasty endings, like you realize it's not healthy for you and you walk away, or they break your heart, either way, these things are like forever chemicals in the ocean. Like, they have a way of coming back. And I don't want to be yet another person on the internet feeding really hurting people promises of reconciliation. I'm not guaranteeing that. I can just say, as a professional astrologer, and also someone who has an eighth house planet and has had eighth house contacts with other people, that these relationships can come back in a good way. Like they were really bad, and then the ending transformed that other person, and then you come back together, brand shiny new. It's really weird. I will say that I had a really good childhood friend. I have Pluto in the eighth house. She was the moon there, Moon Pluto and Venus. We were so close. I was totally obsessed with her. And she was just my person. I was so young. And we had a really nasty falling out. And literally, I hadn't seen or spoken to her in years. And we connected through Instagram. And now we're really good friends. Like, that big transformation took place there. I've had a lot of situations like that, but again, I don't want to overpromise. Eighth house relationships are just weird like that. Again, it's like the casino. It's the casino all the time. You're either gonna win, you're gonna lose, and then you might win after you lose. It is chaotic and has an element of surprise in the background all the time. I hope you love this video. I want you to know that I think eighth house relationships, even though they're really high risk and they can be scary, no one can hurt you like this person. Even though they are dangerous in that way to some degree, when these things are real, when they're genuine, they're like shooting stars. And you want to hold on and just never let go of that person because they're VIP. You let them into a very obscure part of you and they created gold in that spot. And yeah, they're just a really special person. Very rare though. Like, and it's okay that these relationships, when they're good, are rare because you're not meant to have tons of people in your eighth house. It's okay that just a few people will end up there in a positive light. So anyway, I hope you love this video. Please let me know of your eighth house relationship experiences in the comments below. Did you resonate with my video? What are your thoughts? I'm always wanting to know. I'm so curious. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.